I'd also like to ask, how many of these teacher specialist positions, 23 positions, how many of those are currently filled positions?
Before we get to that, I think there
We'll
were
have to
people
look.
who had,
We'd have to research that, we don't really know.
yeah, I think there are people who wanted to speak to this other issue, so I'd like to stay on that for a moment while people, who perhaps want something to say. So, Mrs. Sherman, do you want to speak to that issue?
Yeah, that, actually, Donna's initial question, so what's the 125,000 going to do? By personal time? Is it legal fees? Is it everything? Because I'm trying to figure out, you've got it in a particular account, where it fits here, George. Is it in the legal fees line?
It's
Is
in the
it
school board miscellaneous account,
school board miscellaneous account? Thank you. I'm so glad you know those numbers.
just where I put it.
So 125,000 we would need to hire that third party instead of having all of our people here spending all their time on that and not doing any of the work that we need, right?
Well, it's both, I mean, right? Mr. Collins, why don't you jump in, because you.
Yeah, I think it would be an all-inclusive thing, so
Yeah.
it would include all the attorney's fees.
Okay.
We only went halfway this year.
Right.
If we were to continue the process beyond where we went this year, it would cost a lot more. And I would imagine the way things were going, my experience with it and my opinion is that we were heading towards a courtroom about the buyout. And that's gonna cost a lot of money. So we realized some of what it would cost to do this all over again, but not all of it, and I think that's reflected here. And I think it would also reflect hiring somebody to get the real buyout number back to 1965,
so
as
it's
we
a
had discussed before.
bigger, yeah.
That's my impression of what this number is, but it seems that would encompass everything.
Spot on.
Right, because we did it for love, not money.
I'm going to take one, well, all right, Mr. Sapia, we do have a lot to cover, I just want to remind
So,
everybody,
okay.
so, you know,
So
we don't
the
have.
comment that this didn't cost anything, I think it cost the town in which voted to do the study, which they were told it wasn't gonna cost them anything. If we had progressed into the legal battle, right? If we had progressed, and there would have been legal fees. Getting the numbers going back all 50 years was gonna be somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000. So for anyone to sit here tonight and say, not to mention what it cost the district in discourse, what it did to the teachers, what it did to the students, what it did to the parents, what it did to the communities.
Let's stick to the
But
budget.
what I'm saying is, when you talk about cost, let's not sugarcoat it. Let's talk about what it really cost. So to say that it cost nothing is extremely misleading and not true.
Thank you. Are there any other questions about the budget cuts and additions above and beyond the withdrawal issue? Mrs. Green?
I would like to understand how many teacher specialist positions of those 23 are currently filled. And if you're telling me
We
you
don't know, that's
know,
gonna take some time to do some research. We have, we know we're recruiting, we're still hiring, so you can assume that they're all filled. But I know, Ms.
have a couple-
Michaud and Ms. Armfield have a presentation to make, so,
Wanna jump to that?
you wanna jump up and get to that point now?
Sure, is it okay if you
Yeah, you can do it from there, that's
Sure.
fine, yeah, yeah.
That'd be great.
Easier to s-